All right, it's March 20 something, Sunday. Check out the beautiful bridal wreath spirea. Pretty cool, pretty cool. But anyways, we are standing in front of Bill and Val's little plot of heaven here. We built this area last year and we grew some epic tomatoes here. So what I want to talk to you guys about is cover crops. We planted a cover crop in here because we had such great success with our hugelkultur beds. We planted hairy vetch late last year. It took super well. We left it all winter. It was bulletproof against our Canadian winter. Did really well. Just kind of stopped growing, a little bit of wilt when it got really cold, but then bounced back in the spring. And what we did to terminate it was, all we did was lay down some cardboard, and within 2-3 weeks, the soil basically ate it. And what we were left with was some of the most beautiful soil that I had seen. It turned the wood waste compost that we bought from a composting facility into beautiful soil, and we grew tons of stuff in there. We had 4 or 5 tomato plants, 4 or 5 pepper plants. We had basil growing in there. We had peas growing in there. We did beans at the end of the summer in there, and it just held up really good. And now we have our garlic growing in there. So really sold on cover crops. Just such a cheap way to keep your soil healthy. So this year I sowed, once the tomatoes were finishing up in kind of late September, they had a really good run this year. I sowed in 3 different kinds of cover crop: a winter rye, a hairy vetch, and I forgot. So, but doesn't matter. Basically, the only thing that came up was the winter rye. There was a really small amount of hairy vetch that came up, and which is interesting. I don't know if it got out-competed or whatnot. This was protected by a very janky system to keep the birds out. So, so yeah, basically the winter rye came up, and it's done great all winter long. So as you guys can see, when I pulled up the just a little sample of the winter rye, you can see how nice the roots have penetrated down, and kind of like the interaction between the roots, the root exudates, and the soil and the biology, and the soil that you're left with is just beautiful stuff. So super stoked with that. The other interesting thing with sowing cover crops that I've seen at the farm that we worked at, and also on some market gardeners, is that they can tell where the soil, there's soil deficiencies. You can basically see kind of where we planted ours, like I thickly sowed it, and basically everywhere there's a bare spot is where the tomato plant was. So obviously tomatoes have, fairly shallow roots and very tight roots, so that may have affected the germination, but it would be something to keep an eye on next year when we sow another cover crop, to see if we have the same kind of spottiness around the plants, or if there might be kind of some soil issue. So okay, so my question is, rye, unlike vetch, is much more vigorous. I could come in here and mow this right now, it would just shoot right back up. When we mowed our vetch down and covered it with the cardboard, it was basically toast. So what I'm looking for is anyone out there that knows the best way to terminate this stuff. I know I can dig it in. I prefer not to dig it in because we really like the no-till approach. The weeding is just so much less. So if anyone out there has any ideas, like solarizing it, or maybe cutting it, covering it with cardboard, we've got almost 2 months before tomatoes will see this. Our nighttime temperatures just don't get high enough until very close to June. So and that depends as well. Like it could be much longer than that. So we have lots of time to go ahead and terminate this. But I would like to kind of get some of your guys' thoughts on how to go about it. Yeah, if I could do it the easiest, simplest, and laziest way, that would be the most preferred method for me. So yeah, just a quick thing. If you guys haven't done cover crops, look into it. There's tons of awesome people out there doing awesome videos on cover crops, and I can't recommend it highly. Your soil will absolutely pay you back for it, and treat your plants the following year really, really well. So yeah, just a quick video. Just want to get some of your thoughts, and yeah, you guys stay awesome. Cheers.